Oh my gosh, what a great turnout. You guys all made it here in this. Did anybody have to travel through the snow or wind, which was nuts, right? I came in from Columbus, Ohio. I wasn't at the game. I was watching it on ESPN, listening to Julie Foudy call a great game, but my flight got canceled and it literally took me 12 hours to drive here. So I'm with you, but seriously, thank you so much for being here. It is an absolute honor to be on stage with you and on behalf of US Soccer to welcome you to the first ever SheBelieves Summit. We're thrilled to be here at the New York Nike headquarters to celebrate the power of women supporting and inspiring other women. US Soccer's got an incredible lineup of extraordinary women across various disciplines here today to share their stories of success, but also to give you some tools to help equip you to achieve any dream or goal that you set out to do. So what's the summit? Well, you've probably already guessed, it is an extension of the SheBelieves movement designed by US Soccer to help prepare and motivate young girls and women to reach their dreams. While we've made great strides forward in recent history, I know you guys have all taken notice of the Time's Up and the Me Too campaigns that have really been a focus lately. We still live in a society where outdated gender norms affect young girls, and to be perfectly honest with you, I stand here as a 34-year-old woman working in the sports broadcasting business, and they still affect me on a daily basis. So it's really important for us to get out there and keep moving the ball forward. US Soccer has shown that they want to be a part of it. They want to help change that by shining a spotlight on positive female role models and showcasing the women's national team as an inspiration for women and girls. Their success on the field as 3-time World Cup champions. Seriously? And how about that 1-0 win over Germany Thursday night? I know who all was watching with me. Thank you. It was a good game, challenging, right, with that wind? Oh, man. But also, their personalities off the field, they really invoke the best out of us and make us believe that we can achieve whatever we set out to do, no matter the challenges in front of us. I mentioned the lineup, right? We have some pretty incredible women here today, and every single woman that's going to step on this stage, she's been told no. She's faced challenges, and she's persevered to be able to reach her dreams. And our goal today is to help you accomplish yours through some of their stories. I mentioned the lineup, so let me lay it out for you. We're going to start off this morning by hearing from some of the female leaders behind the SheBelieves movement, followed by our keynote speaker. You may have heard of her, you may have listened to her on the game on Thursday night. She is the former U.S. Women's National Team captain, a gold medalist and a World Cup winner, Julie Foudy. Next, we're going to hear from a group of panelists who have truly broken barriers, paving the way for other women today. Then we're going to get a little hands-on, because you don't want to sit here all day, right? We are going to get hands-on. We're going to get out into breakout sessions, and you guys are going to get some hard tools and skills to learn how to take those key steps forward towards your goals. And then we're going to conclude the day with a group of women who have competed at the highest level in their respective sports, lending their insights on how they've built strong female communities around them and how they continue to help lift other women along the way. And I have to do a teaser. This is what we call a tease in television. You have to stick around to the end because US Soccer has an announcement that they're going to make that makes me want to go back in time and be in college right now with an opportunity for all the young women here that is just a golden opportunity. So make sure you stick around to the end. But first, let me just say thank you so much for braving the elements, for coming and being a part of the inaugural SheBelieves Summit. All right, are you ready to get started? You've heard enough of me talking, right? I'll clap to that. I am pleased to first introduce our SheBelieves Within panel. These incredible women have all shaped the SheBelieves movement and are some of the visionary women within the soccer world who exemplify the SheBelieves value. Please help me welcome to the stage our SheBelieves Within panel. First, the Chief Talent Officer for US Soccer, Tonya Wallach. Next, the Director of Events for US Soccer, Amy Hopfinger. I was like alligator arms there, I'm sorry. Also, Kay Bradley, the Brand Director for US Soccer. US Soccer's General Counsel, Lydia. And the Managing Director of Operations from the National Women's Soccer League, Amanda Duffy. We did it! Oh, so it's kind of hard to believe we're here at the SheBelieves Summit, but just a few short years ago, SheBelieves was an idea that these ladies, as well as a few others, actually helped bring into existence. So, Kay, I want to start off with you. Can you just take us through the SheBelieves origin? How did it start?
Yeah. So it actually started really organically. It started as a phrase that was conceived by the women's national team players themselves. And really it was a mantra and a cheer and a hashtag in support of the women's national team in the 2015 World Cup. And as they were trying to make it to the finals, it was really a cheer that rallied all their fans, the team around them, in the belief that they could actually win the World Cup. So it was pretty powerful at the time, but then when the women's national team won the World Cup in 2015, this phrase, SheBelieves, took on a whole new meaning, and it became so much bigger. And so it went from a phrase to a mantra that was really inspirational for anyone who was trying to achieve a goal or a dream, whether that was in soccer or outside of the sport, to know that if they aim high and believe in themselves and believe in others, that they can achieve their dreams. So that's really kind of the origin of SheBelieves, the phrase itself. And then at US Soccer, we just thought it was really important to continue to spread this inspirational message. And we have an amazing platform in our #1 ranked women's national team.
Number one.
Number one. And in our competitions, and a huge microphone with all of our partners. And so we just thought it was an opportunity we couldn't pass up to make this a bigger and bigger movement over time. And so, you know, I think also, while we all believe this, it's really culturally relevant right now too. I mean, it's unfortunate, but there are still people out there that say, you know, females can't or shouldn't pursue things just because of their gender. And we're not okay with that. So, you know, in using our women's national team players, our staff, all of the women who are here today to speak as illustrations that anything is possible if you put your mind to it, we want to spread that message that, that it's important to pursue your goals no matter your gender, and go after it.
Pretty amazing illustrations out there, but I love the fact that this started as a phrase, something on the field that the women themselves came up with and then everybody rallied behind. Kind of an open question to you all. We all love a catchy phrase, right? It gets stuck in your head. I had to imagine that you're excited when you hear this, but what was your initial reaction to when this really started to get going and you thought, hey, we can run with this?
Yeah, I think the chant originally started with the I Believe chant, which our supporters have taken and run with, and it's been, you know, wildly successful. We had a great run with it in 2014 in Brazil for the Men's World Cup, and then to be able to put a spin on it for the women's team and really kind of make it our own, their own, for our female fans, was really a great opportunity and really unique, and something that, you know, we're super proud of and super happy to have in our arsenal.
Yeah. Okay, just going back to you, why was it so important for US Soccer in particular to get involved with this and to just really embrace the empowerment of women?
Yeah, well, I think we have a microphone, we have a stage in our team. I mean, all eyes on us, the spotlight on us, and these amazing women who have just achieved so much success because the belief that they have in each other, in themselves, and it's important for us to take advantage of that and make sure that we're doing our part to spread that message.
Absolutely. Amy, we're in the midst of the third SheBelieves Cup, which is, it felt like yesterday, but you know, here we are. U.S., by the way, 1-0, or yeah, 1 win right now. Why was it important to create additional programming, because we see them on the field, but to be here today with a group of really powerful, inspiring women that we have in the audience, why was it important to create the off the field?
Sure. So, you know, there's so many opportunities in and around sports to get involved and to be a part of it. And SheBelieves gave us a different platform for that. So we were able to look at our events, look at what we were doing as an organization differently because we had this message and this mantra to kind of lean on. So small things like taking roles that would typically go to a male potentially around our events, all female DJs, all female referee crews for all of these games, female on-field hosts, all of those small changes that we can make and consciously make to make these games really this SheBelieves spirit, which then continue on to the rest of our women's games. So that forces our hand as an organization to continue to look at our women's events, our women's games differently. So we started there. We started small. Last year, we instituted the SheBelieves Hero, which really focused on the young teenage audience, giving them an opportunity to really take that SheBelieves message, look at themselves, look at those around them, figure out what a hero looks like. We've had 2 great heroes, vastly different. Last year we had a hero that nominated herself. This year we had a little girl that nominated a girl she really looked up to and admired, which is exactly what we're looking for. And now we've got an opportunity with this summit, which thank you all for being here. It's crazy to actually see it as reality now. To focus on a different audience. You guys are in a unique spot. You're, in your early college years, this is the time where you really kind of start to see that male-female divide. Things aren't as equal as they used to be. Where U8, you could play on a boys, soccer team. This is where you see it in the classroom and in work, a greater divide. So giving you guys this, a platform and an opportunity to come and learn from all these amazing women that we've got here today allows us to continue to extend that message. So you can take it home, you can take it to school, you can take it to work, you can kind of infiltrate the rest of your life with this message and really, hopefully, have some skills that you can take home with you.
Well said. Absolutely. Lydia, part of the SheBelieves movement showcases the women's national team. I am particularly loved on Thursday night. I think at halftime we got to see Julie Ertz in Minnesota with her, fur-lined hood, getting out there and just surprising young women within the academy and just seeing them light up when she shows up. I mean, I would absolutely do the same. So we have role models like Julie Ertz, but can you speak to the importance of having a strong female role model in the professional sense?
Absolutely. I think I'm a little bit unique on this stage because I'm the lawyer for U.S. Soccer, and I've spent my career now in male-dominated industries. I started out in the film industry. I'm now in the legal industry, and I'm in the context, in particular, in sports. So I'm in the legal industry in the context of a male-dominated field again. So it is something that I've dealt with throughout my career, and in every company that I've worked with, being able to find a female mentor is incredibly important to your own personal and professional development. But at the same time, sometimes if you're in a male-dominated industry, you also have to seek out the male mentors there. And I think that's something that we all need to embrace a little bit more, is really finding mentors where you are. And sometimes you have to look outside your company, and sometimes you can find them within your company. But finding that person who can guide you, who can listen to you, who can really be there for you and answer questions when you don't know who else to consult is really something that I found incredibly valuable throughout my career. And quite honestly, finding mentors in your colleagues, in the people that you work with every day, and finding a way to create that collegial respect and really build that teamwork across the entire working spectrum is something that I would really encourage all of you to do as you grow. And you'll see that in college. You'll build those groups in class. You know, those relationships, those connections, those networks that you begin building now will really be the networks that will follow you throughout your professional career.
I love how you say, finding those women that you can lead on, but also don't forget about the men there. So, and really, we're here to empower you, right? But it's also looking past the gender. Let's get everyone to look past the gender and just be there for one another. Lydia, was there one person in particular at a moment in your life where you needed them so badly and the advice they gave you, whether it changed anything or it just helped you take a deep breath? Is there one moment like that that you remember?
There have actually been a number, and I really count among my own personal mentors. There was a federal judge that I clerked for who's a woman and who was one of the youngest federal judges ever appointed to the bench by the president, and she is absolutely one of my top career mentors. But there's also been a number of male partners who have all, at law firms that I've worked with, who have really been guiding lights, so to speak, for my career and have really helped me find opportunities and build up my confidence enough to be able to take that opportunity. And I think that is something that a mentor can really be helpful in, is pushing you to take opportunities that you might otherwise be a little bit hesitant to take because you think, am I good enough? And the bottom line is you will never know unless you pursue that opportunity.
How many of you guys have thought, am I good enough? When you think about doing something, US Soccer calls me and says, Katie, we have this amazing new event. Will you moderate it for us? I am used to standing on the sideline. I'm not used to standing on stage up here. And I thought, can I really do this? Has you guys been in a situation like that? And I love how you said, you will never know unless you dive into the pool, really, truly. Tonya, I want to move over to you. In your role with US Soccer, how have you seen and how do you continue to foster a culture of building female leaders within?
Well, I'm really lucky. I've been at soccer for 6 months, and I work for a CEO who truly believes that diversity drives our business results. And he's right? So diversity of background, diversity of culture, diversity of ethnicity and gender. And so my hire, Lydia's hire, Amanda's hire was part of that strategy. And so I think that's where it starts, right? We know that representation matters, and having women in the workforce to demonstrate what it means to be a good leader, how you can lead differently as a woman is really important. So that's part of the strategy. Before I even got there, we had hired last year, more than 40% of our new hires were women. And that's an extraordinary number for any organization. We will continue to try to meet or exceed that number on an annual basis. So I talk a lot about the research, right? There's some recent research that came out from Harvard that talks about in the interview process, how many women do you have to interview relative to men in order to give women a fair shot? The answer is you need to interview at least 4 people. 2 of them need to be women and 2 of them need to be men. So when I'm talking to our managers about their hiring strategies, I'm talking to them about that, right? We also talk about talent management, putting the right processes in place to help establish a platform for management of performance across a vast, diverse array of things, not just your results, but how you do things in the organization. So we're putting in place a talent management platform that measures both what we call the what you do, and also how you do it, right? So I think that creates a platform and a process that allows for more diversity. And then lastly, we'll focus on talent development going forward. We'll build on things that our women leaders need to succeed. Things like efficacy, helping build the self-esteem and confidence and connection of our women. And that's the last piece of it, right, is really creating a community of practice of women in our organization and across our organization and our stakeholders who have common interests, common experiences, common questions. And we've done that with the help of some of our younger staff members. I don't have all the time in the world, but a great story. I don't know if Courtney is in the room. She is. She's talking to somebody back there. But one of the first months I was at US Soccer, a young lady named Courtney Sizak came into my office and said, hey, I really want us to start to create this community of practice. Do you know about the Women in Sports and Events WISE group? And I said, I've never been in sports before. This is my first opportunity to hear about it. She told me about the group, and I said, would you lead us on an effort and a journey to join that group and become closer as a group of women? And so she's taken the reins of that, and she's done a bang-up job of bringing us together. And so it's, I think it's a journey, and it takes all of us, and there's some unique things that we can do together.
It does take all of us. And I love how you brought up being a leader as a woman and the difference you can bring is that. And it may sound like a simple question and one that all of us can answer, what is a good leader? But there's a different answer depending upon who you ask. So Tonya, in your opinion, what does make a good leader and why can we as women lead maybe a little bit different?
Yeah, I think a good leader is somebody who certainly, they talk about the difference between competence and warmth, right? So when you first meet somebody, that's how people judge you, right? And I think having a good blend of competence, knowing your subject matter, your industry, what you need to do to create a vision is important, as is that warmth, the ability to inspire those around you, to connect with people, to listen. So I would say a good leader has a good blend of that competence and warmth. And what was the second part of the question, Katie?
Why, you mentioned being a woman, you have the ability to maybe lead in a different way. Yeah. Is there an example where you've witnessed that?
Many. I'm trying to pick one. You know, I think that in my experience, I've worked in consulting, I've worked in academia, I have worked in corporate America in 2 very large companies. And when groups of men get together, it is, you tend to get, and this is generalizing at a very high level, it's much more direct, it's more just to the point, and I think women in general have more subtlety to their leadership style. And so I will notice in US soccer, for instance, where I'll get an email and it is very direct and it has a diverse group of people on it, where I'll then have to call the person in and say, okay, I get what you were saying, and it's usually a guy. I get what you were saying. Here's the different kinds of interpretations somebody could have gotten based on how you phrase that. And that person will go, whoa, I didn't realize that that could be, this is just what I was intending to communicate. I'm like, well, that's not how I took it, and I'm guessing 3 of your colleagues. So you might either want to clarify or just run to their office and say, hey, just so you know, after the fact, I caught myself, and I want to make sure you know where I'm coming from, right? So I think creating some awareness for our male colleagues and some of our colleagues who haven't worked in a really diverse workforce is really important.
Absolutely. Amanda, I haven't picked on you yet, so you're on the hot seat next. What have you learned from other women in the sports industry that's really inspired you?
Well, my journey's been one where it's inspired by the lack of women and lack of opportunities for women. As an athlete growing up, most of my coaches were male. The majority of my peers and colleagues in the industry have been male. Majority of my bosses have been male. My board at Louisville City in USL was 100% male. My NWSL board is all male, except with the exception of 1 woman. So there's still a lot of male dominance in this, as it's already been addressed with this industry. So as I sit here with the women here and have the opportunity to work alongside or closely with the women here today, and that are in the industry right now, that there's a sense of pride and a sense of accomplishment that we've all come through in whatever versions to get to where we are and to be able to work in this industry where it hasn't been necessarily an easy path, or to have had those mentors or relationships with women in the industry. So on an individual level, this inspires me to learn more, to see what everyone's doing, to see everyone's approach and be open-minded in everything that I do so that I can become better in that leadership capacity. From a broader standpoint, I look at this and I see you guys as the inspiration to what we're doing, because you're the ones that can look at us now as your role models. You have the athletes on the field, you have women in leadership positions in the sports industry, and so you're the inspiration for us to continue what we do and do it at a high level and a successful level.
Tonya, I want to start with you with this one, and we will keep it short, but I want to hear from everybody. Is there one suggestion that you can give these ladies on how to get the most out of today?
If I would give you one piece of advice, it would be to be present. Turn off your phone, be engaged, you have a great opportunity to listen, to ask questions, to probe, to get really clear on some things that you might have not been clear on before today. And you have an opportunity to meet each other and really build a network, to meet the kinds of women on this stage and in the back of the room and behind the magic curtain. Take advantage of that opportunity today to really build connection and to be present.
I think to kind of piggyback off Tonya a little bit, you know, when I started at U.S. Soccer almost 15 years ago, there weren't many women around. I spent a lot of time in meetings and events with all male colleagues. Things like this didn't exist. So you've got each other, you have us, you have all the other panelists that will come before you today. Take full advantage of it. Introduce yourselves to each other, introduce yourselves to us. You know, we're here because we see an opportunity to continue this movement and to continue the forward progress that we hopefully will all make together.
I would just encourage everyone to think about leadership a little bit differently today. I think when we hear leadership or role models, we think people who've been in their industries for a long period of time or in really high up positions like CEOs or VPs. And I think it's important, and as you're hearing a lot of the people today talk about their successes and their leadership opportunities, to know that leadership isn't a title. You can be in whatever position, and I think probably a lot of you will be interns soon, if not already. You'll be assistants or you'll be coordinators. And in any of those roles, you can be a leader. You can demonstrate leadership qualities. And in fact, you know, when we think about the summit here today and the SheBelieves movement, while we have complete support from our executive leadership and resources, the reason that this is all possible is because of the staff, regardless of the level. We have, again, you know, people who are in their 20s who are driving a lot of what you see here today, and it's because of their passion and their dedication and their belief that they can achieve anything, that this has really come together. So I would just challenge you and give you the advice that you can be a leader no matter what position you are in, so long as you find something that you're passionate about and just work hard and pursue it.
I would leave today with a tremendous amount of hope and excitement, and I would really encourage you to take advantage of the summit today, but don't stop. Take what you learned today, go home, summarize it to yourselves, and then set some goals for yourself. Set some short-term goals and some long-term goals. And take a look around you and realize that this is probably the coolest time to be a woman, and to be a woman in sports that has ever existed, really. And to be able to have this summit and what an easy thing it was just to gather this many female executives and this many talented women in the profession here on the stage on, you know, not a problem at all. This is such a cool time to be a woman in any industry, but to be a woman in a sport, in an industry that is so much a part of our culture as sport, is really such a fantastic thing to see. And I would really encourage you all to really have a great time today, make some new friends, make some new connections, and go forward with a lot of hope and ambition.
Yeah, and I would add to everything that's been said here, and just that it's a journey for each and every one of you. And for any setback that you encounter, look at it as an opportunity in your journey. And there's so much that is ahead for each and every person in here. So as you approach it and as you listen to leaders in the sports industry today, it's not an A to Z direct path. And for each of you, it's going to be unique, and each of you, it's going to be special, and to take advantage of any opportunity that you do have.
I think that I zigzagged. It was not direct for me. I zigzagged all along the way, but hey, it's made it that much sweeter. So Kay mentioned being a leader, and you have that opportunity today. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Let's open it up to some questions and answers by these smart, talented, intelligent women. Alejandra has a microphone. Can I have a raise of a hand? And when you get it, will you please state your name, where you're from, and your question. And thank you for participating with us.
Hi, my name's Danielle McCardle. I came all the way from Orlando, Florida, so It's a little cold for me, but that's okay. I found out about this on Thursday and made it happen because this is important to me. I'm a PhD student at UCF, University of Central Florida, doing my dissertation on women's professional sports and how to make them more profitable. But one thing that I'd like to hear from each of you is, what do you believe is the first barrier in front of us that we should concentrate on knocking down? Because there are several different angles, but I feel like if we focus more, we'd be able to get one hurdle and then hop the next one. So what do you think that first barrier is?
Ourselves. Yourself. Right. So you have to get out of your head first. Understand that you're here because you belong here. You have a seat at the table for a reason, so own it.
I agree. I think the biggest barrier and first thing to address is everyone has to take a step. You have to take the first step, and it might not always be the right step or the best step, but you have to take a step to get yourself involved and get yourself a part of the conversation, a part of the opportunity, and that business that is building sports and women in sports.
I can absolutely, that resonates with me because I often am my own worst enemy. And so getting out of my own way and then being brave enough to take that step. And you have to, because you're taking it for the next woman who's coming up behind you. And then don't forget to turn around and help her. So any other questions right here? Sorry, Alejandra. She did say she wanted to get her steps in today, right?
Hi, my name is Nandi. I'm from Queens, New York. But Amanda, you mentioned turning setbacks into opportunities, and this is a question for all of you as well. How do you kind of take a lesson from failure, and how do you embrace failure and turn it into a learning opportunity?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think when I started out in the sports industry, I had very specific goals, objectives, items in mind that I wanted to do or meet, and it was a very linear path for me that led to a very specific definition of success. So anything that didn't hit those marks, to me, was a sense of failure. And you go through that process of, well, why did that happen? What did I do along the way? Or how can I get back onto this path that I want to be on to? Again, my definition of success, which I think I still need to talk to Tonya more about, about that. But anything that didn't fit in that, to me, was failure. So it was, how do I continue? How do I get back on that path and put myself back in a position to find that success and be there? So, and it happens on a daily basis in smaller ways, and it happens on an annual basis in much larger ways. So it's not, you can't look at one specific failure and it's going to be massive and crushing, and you're going to get fired from a job, and that's going to be the failure that's going to inspire you to do more. There's certain small decisions along the way that you might get wrong, that you have to just understand that and just keep looking forward and keep making sure that you're doing the best for the broader perspective and direction and vision of what you're trying to accomplish.
I think I see failure. If you look at Silicon Valley, you look at the software industry, failure doesn't mean the same thing today that I think it meant when we were growing up. Failure can be a badge of honor. Failure means you've put yourself out there. You've tried to accomplish something. And so long as you take that failure and you learn from it, and you look at it and say, okay, why did I fail? What can I learn from this? What can I do better the next time? If you're learning from that, I think failure is something in some ways to be proud of, because you've put yourself out there. And if you haven't done that, you're never, ever going to take the next step. You're never going to succeed. There is not an athlete out there who wins every single time she steps out in the pitch. You cannot win every match. It's the same for men, it's the same for women. And it's the same in business, it's the same in anything else. If you do not put yourself out there, you will never succeed. And so you have to start looking at failure as, that's okay. I'm going to dust myself off, I'm going to learn from this, and I'm going to go forward.
I like that. Nobody does win every single match, and for the business-like minds out there, right, think of it like a multiple choice question. You just eliminated one answer that you know isn't right. Now you can try again almost, right?
That's a good analogy.
I think we have time for one more question. I'll let Alejandra pick.
Whoever you can get to.
Hi, my name is Cassidy. I'm from New Jersey. A question that I have for all of you kind of touches on the point that you said that kind of the road to where you are and the road to sports leadership isn't a linear path. It isn't A to Z. And I was wondering, like, can you give us any advice on, you know, how to get started down that path, maybe what that path entails? Like, what are some things that we can get involved in to hopefully one day be as cool as you?
I can start with that one. You know, I think there are so many different opportunities to be involved in sport. When I was younger, I thought the only way to be involved in soccer was to actually be a national team player, and I certainly wasn't good enough for that. So I think it's important for you to find out what you're passionate about, what you love to do. And then in that, there will likely be a pathway into sport. You have an attorney, marketing, you have operations, you have HR. We all have different fields that are within sport. And so it's really about finding what you care about, what you want to do, because that excitement, that passion will drive you and fuel you, and then you can just channel that into sports.
And I'll add a couple things to that, just from the perspective of, yes, you have all of these industries that exist outside of sports, all of these job responsibilities that exist outside of sports. So it's not, when we talk about that linear path, you don't necessarily have to start and stay in sports to be a sport leader. But also, there's probably an element of glamour that appears right now. And I'll say on a day-to-day basis, there's not so much glamour. There's probably no glamour in the day-to-day of it. So you guys have to understand that in that process, it's going to start with internships or part-time jobs or volunteering or at games or just doing stuff to help and get yourself acclimated to what actually goes on inside sports. And be able to roll up your sleeves and do the day-to-day part of it to get to experience the glamour part of it.
Learn as much as you can, work as hard as you can, take every internship, every opportunity you can, build networks. Every single person in this room, the people sitting next to you, some of my closest friends are people I met when I was 16, and they are still people that I work with today. They are still people that I call. Being able to have that friend that you can call and say, I'm in a situation, I don't know where to go, what do you think? It's just as important in your personal life as it is in your professional life.
And to piggyback off of that, I can just say that you already have about 100 friends sitting in this room because we're all here wanting to learn and for the same reason. So you mentioned networking. I can't emphasize that enough. I mean, it's more often who you know that might get you in the door, and then it's how hard you work and what you know that's going to keep you there. But I'll pass the ball back to you.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's okay if you don't have it all figured out. While Amanda had a very linear path, I fell backwards into this, to be honest. But I've taken every opportunity that I've had, and I've, you know, run with any job opportunity, any project, any event, anything that anyone will give me, I've taken, because I didn't know where that would lead me, and I'm hoping, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, but I'm hoping that along the way I'll figure it out. So it's okay, don't put pressure on yourselves, but try it out, see what's out there. We all talked about, you know, internship opportunities, volunteer, you know, join boards, you know, join nonprofits, you know, things like that. I think there's so much out there to help you figure out where you want to be in the end, but it's okay if you don't know that right now.
Yeah, and you've got 40 years to get there. So deep breath, it'll happen.
I think that might be the best advice. Take a deep breath. Hey, great questions. And how about a round of applause for yourself, but also for these incredible women. Thank you so much, ladies.